So we started talking about this yesterday, and we're going to finish talking about it today because I felt on my spirit that Soul's Talk is all about education. Everything's about seeing not just the beginning and the tragedy, but also seeing what the true ending was of something that we thought someone else destroyed. So we're going to be talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Massacre, better known as Black Wall Street. Anybody who would like this, I could send you an email of this think piece and all the facts that it's coming from. But I'm going to read to you guys the key takeaways of Black Wall Street. So it started off with the rise. Segregation created unprecedented Black prosperity. Greenwood was a 35 block, self contained Black economy in Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 1920s. Jim Crow laws forced Black people to shop within their own community, creating a surplus in the economy for Blacks. Black dollars circulated within Greenwood, creating wealth and opportunity. By 1921, it was the most prosperous Black community in America, better known as Black Wall Street. Had its own schools, own hospitals, own theaters, newspapers, and thriving businesses. The massacre, one night of systematic destruction. On May the 31st, 1921, a false accusation against a young Black man triggered white violence. On June 1st, 1921, a white mob descended on Greenwood and burned it to the ground. 35 city blocks destroyed, 1,200 plus homes burned, 300 plus people killed. The destruction was orchestrated, and it wasn't a riot, it was an ethnic cleansing. The resilient narrative that we don't talk about, the rebuilding against the sabotage. Greenwood residents rebuilt almost immediately after the massacre. Within 6 months, 700 plus homes slash buildings reconstructed. By 1936, Greenwood reclaimed its position as the largest concentration of Black owned businesses in the US. But this resilience had to overcome active governmental sabotage. So I'm giving you all the facts. City officials installed a reconstruction committee led by the KKK, used bureaucratic obstacles, and withheld relief funds to prevent rebuilding. Wanted white developers to seize the
Sons
land,
of bitches.
okay, but and not Black residents to recover. The second destruction, how progress dismantled what violence couldn't. In the 1950s paradox, when segregation laws began ending, for those who does Jim Crow, those type of things, began ending, Greenwood's economy collapsed. Black people could finally shop outside of Greenwood. Money flowed out to white businesses across the town. The captive market that made prosperity possibly disappeared. In the 1960s, a death blow, federal highways construction cut through Greenwood neighborhoods, further isolated the community economically and physically. Urban renewal became a tool of destruction, and not progress. The deeper meaning of this system of containing Black success. Violence was the first one in 1921, the direct destruction attempt. Then in the 1960s, it became the system. When violence failed, America used law, infrastructure, and progress to limit Black prosperity. Black economic power is tolerable only when contained and isolated. The moment it becomes truly prosperous, the system adjusts to suppress it. This isn't accidental, it's structural racism wearing different masks. The unfinished reckoning. Greenwood's story is now public, but materials representation remain hypothetical. No direct payment to survivors or descendants from the city of Tulsa. The question remains: why should a community have needed that level of resilience? And the real issue isn't why they could rebuild, is that they shouldn't have to. So again, when I preference this, I'm not saying anything was right, but I'm letting you guys know this. Ultimately, and I can send you guys the document. After they rebuild, the downfall of the new Black Wall Street was our own people. Once the laws actually closed, that once the laws were getting, they got rid of the certain segregation laws, we decided to spend our dollar with the white people, which later on allowed them to eventually move plugs to be sage, move in to the area to build highways. And that's what I wanted to talk about yesterday, because a lot of people speak about Black Wall Street as if it never came back. It came back. But what they did after they seen that they couldn't destruct it or cause damage from violence and it was rebuilt, they then manipulated the system through the system. And so I want to have the final conversation tonight because we talked about the Black dollar and we talked about why it's important to shop at Black companies and shop at Black businesses. And I think this is a very critical story, because if we would have just stayed in our community and continued to shop in our community, regardless that they were taking the prices up by $15 and changing all these things, I think it would have still been able to be successful if we knew that, hey, we control this narrative. So what is your guys' thoughts on this?
Damn. Sad. I knew about the Reconstruction, and I knew about them leaving. You know what I mean? But where I get, sad about that, it could have actually branched out. But I also had a thought that there was some under the table deals for the actual move. Come over here and you can make more money doing this. You just bring in the cool cat that's cool with, what I'm saying, that can get along with everybody, and he make him go up under the table. I can just see like it's always a plot and a scheme happening in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just in my
Yeah.
mind. And it's like I could see Buddy coming in and getting them to come on over here, because they knew that eventually the town would outgrow itself. In 5 to 10 years, more kids will be born, more people will be traveling to move there, and it would actually branch out, and it would turn to from a actual city into a county, and from a county into a state, and the state into pushing outward. So it's always it's if that's the case, then nothing is systematic at all. If there's not a plan to stop the growth of that actual project and economic growth happening within a community, then there's nothing systematic, which means whoever don't believe that that systematic that doesn't exist, then it's like you got to be blind to that, because it wasn't just by coincidence that folks would just leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're flourishing, why would you leave? You would only leave somewhere if you're not flourishing, or you felt you wasn't safe. So did it speak in that about preventative measures, like maybe creating security and
Yeah,
of the
it
perimeter?
talks about it in the full article.
Right. So if that's the only thing that would actually make someone leave, if they didn't feel safe or they wasn't flourishing. So if they were flourishing, they didn't feel safe, but they took preventative measures to make sure that the people were safe, then I would have to say that there was something systematically set in place to separate that whole ordeal. That makes sense to anyone?
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Scale of 1 to 10. 6, 6.5.
Nah, about a 3.5.
Oh man, you crazy.
No,
Delusion is high. Come
no,
on
no,
now.
no, no, no. I definitely see what you're saying. But I want to
Mhm.
give people a little snapshot into my brain. I'm big about, because we always talk about history, right? And we always talk about generations and our children,
Mhm.
and I still feel like we always need to give the younger generation the full story, not just the trauma and the tragedy of the story.
Mhm.
Because ultimately, everything you said can be, two things can be true here. What Plug said can be true, and this other side is true, right? Regardless that we felt unsafe, we still had the power.
Yep. Yep.
And that's what I always want us to remember. I say this over and over. I don't know how people always miss that verbiage, but we have the power. And Black Wall Street wasn't a city, it was a stretch of road. Like, it wasn't like they had the whole Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like, that's not what it was. It was a stretch of road. Like, even with that being said, they were able to rebuild after that disaster. For those who read the book Alchemist, it makes a lot more sense. But
Mhm.
they were able to rebuild. But once they rebuilt, they still started comparing their rebuild to what they wanted, that they thought they should get.
Yeah.
A lot of our life today that we struggle with is because
Pocket watch.
we continue to compare what they got to what we got. Why do I got to start here and they don't? Why do I got to? That gets you nowhere at the end of the day. I'm not saying that you don't need to acknowledge it. You can know it's there, but you still got to put your head down and go to work. You
Like
know what I
John
mean?
said.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta put your head down and go to work. If you want to be a six-figure earner, seven-figure earner, whatever you want to be in life, you can get there. Will it look like everybody else's march? No. There's some black people too who get it handed to them. Like, everybody don't have the same race. Everybody don't have the same outcomes, but that doesn't mean you can't get there. And I always want people to realize that, man, they destroyed something, but we were so powerful that we rebuilt, even in the midst of Jim Crow, even in the midst of all these things that were going on, even in the midst of them putting a KKK government in. We rebuilt something that they tried to destroy by violence. We rebuilt it, but then at the moment we were rebuilt, we allowed them to now play a trick on us, and now we want to go see what they got over there, and we're going to go spend our money over there. And I think we have to remember that if we would have just kept spending our dollar where we were, Black Wall Street would still be the same thing. It wouldn't just be a store, it would be a physical thing that you still see to this day. Because it's that power. It's kind of like what Plug said about Louis Vuitton, right? Everybody he picked out was black people who create fashion, black people who create what's trending now. Like, I try to focus on the positive, man. I feel like the negatives are there. Like Plug said, you will see it on your timeline all day. But
Mhm.
what's motivating you to keep moving? And for me, that's positivity.
It's
Like,
like
go
it's
ahead.
like most people will that have money don't want to invest, don't care about investing. And the ones that invest in stocks don't want to invest in crypto. And the ones that's in crypto just think the whole system's corrupt. You know what I mean? It's like it's a I still think that all of this is a part of a systematic situation.
Yeah.
Like, because it's that's all they like. It's something to, you know how many people study dinosaurs and the bones, and most people study, genealogy and of the earth and rocks, and they know everything about rocks. The ones that study people, races, actions, probabilities, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have mastered this, and that what goes into marketing, and that's what goes into the the system that's in place. Like, they can predict what not the whole mass, but the mass will do, the majority would do, even if it's 51%. They would just know that what they would do. And then they know the portion of the ones that would just follow the masses and the other ones that would stray this way. And they know that this number would be by themselves. They know that this number will be small. You know what I mean? Like it just it's a hell of a game. I just try to play against the game. You know what I'm saying? What they would expect somebody with my background and what I've been through to do, I try to do the opposite. Like, no, I'm not going to get a job. I'm gonna work for myself. No, I'm not just gonna work for myself. I'm an LLC. No, I'm not just going to LLC. I'm an S corp. No, I'm not going to just S corp. I'm going to invest. No, I'm not just going to have a SEP IRA. I'm going to have a 401k. I'm going to have a Roth IRA. I'm going to do everything that they think that I would not do. I'm going to do the exact opposite.
Yes.
This soapbox getting slippery, man.
My
No, like it's crazy though, right? Like it's crazy because like we're both saying the same thing, and you're saying just kind of do the.
I'm your Leroy.
Yeah.
I'm your Leroy.
Yeah. Like I think you understand what I'm saying. I'm all about. There has to be an optimistic person within the group. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I neglect history. I'm just choosing not to let history dictate my 10 steps I'm about to take forward. That's all I mean when I say that. Like, that's all I'm saying when I say this. Like, I know that there's people out there that's against me, but when I make these steps forward, I can't worry about those who are against me. I'm hoping that when I take 10 steps forward, it's 2 more people thinking like me. Or if they don't think like me, we can agree to disagree, but keep moving. You know what I mean? So,
what you was about to say, Ryan?
I just said clip that what he just said. But no, my question is, I know we brought up supporting our own. Support Black people, support Black businesses. What can we do to encourage that more? What's the solution to not step like Tulsa rebuilt, but they stepped outside? What's the solution to more encouragement for not stepping outside and still supporting these Black-owned businesses?
Ask that one more time, right?
We can. We're solution based. What's the solution?
I think the solution is what we're doing right here. Being able to have the conversation right now.
The conversation, yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't even get to have the conversation. Like I think right now, it's not a ending solution, but I think it's the start of a solution, right? Like even when you look at Clane asking great questions, she's talking about it's more complex, which it is. It's very complex. Like this is like a series you could do and talk about so many things that has happened and continues to happen to this day. With that being said, I think the first solution will be talking about it. I think the second one would be people getting together and truly saying, what does it look like for you? What does Black prosperity look like for you? What does positive Black economy look like for you? Like seeing what people really think those things look like, because we all might have a different vision of it. Plug might say Black Wall Street. I'm like, nah, man, that was just a stretch of a road, man. We need a whole city. Okay. Clane might be like, nah, bro, we need a whole state. Supermac, like, nah, we need a whole region. You know what I mean? Like, so now you got to start building. Okay, well, we see that we want to get to the southern region. We want to take that over. But how do we take over this block right now that got all these abandoned houses on it? And that's where plug conversation came in yet. When you go talk to people and they don't want to invest.
Yeah.
Like, let's just go buy the houses, dog. Like, what are you scared of? Let's just go buy the houses, dog. We pass by them every day. We in the hood. Plug, man. Let's go throw 90 grand over here, man. Let's go throw 90 grand over here. Let's buy 9 of these houses. They selling for 10 grand a piece. And let's see what we can do with it. You know what I mean? That's really where it starts. Because now we're the faces in that neighborhood. When we got our Mexicans out there fixing up the house that can build a house in a week, You know what I mean? And but me and Plug out there every day in our golf cart, riding around, talking to the neighbors, telling them how they can get their houses rebuilt and refinanced. We can help you have a better house. We can, hey, let's do this. Hey, you know what I mean? We got Alejandro over here. He's gonna be cutting all the yards for our 9 houses.
Yep,
He'll take
laying the sod.
yeah,
Yep.
he'll take care of you too if you just blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's politicking.
But let me push back on that.
Go
So
ahead.
we supporting black businesses, right? So why do we have to get Alejandro and why can't we get Leroy down the street?
I'm just trying to keep people in their appropriate roles.
Because in their appropriate role, and at the same time,
Leroy Green Acres, the best.
It ain't just black
business.
because John make it like it ain't just black because John may have the general contractor license. So the things that we need to build, we can keep it in house. He's with us. He on our team. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you got government officials. All right, we got you. So now we got you over here making sure that we can talk to the people down at City Hall and get these permits so we can do what we need to do. Like everybody, it takes a village, and the village would be us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The village would be us. It's not, I mean, I know that we was talking about black dollars and black enterprise when with the first 2 segments, but this is, and we talking about Black Wall Street right now, but it's also a situation where everyone is needed to make this happen. You know what I mean? Because you at the end of the day, you got to think, if we are, let's just think in this aspect, if we are marginalized, if we are redlined, we're gonna need that face that actually sees our vision and it says, you know, hey man, I'm with you, bro. We need Mark. You know what I'm saying? To be like, yeah, we with you, bro. So okay,
or we got to go back to the table, right? Let's say if Plug feel like we need Mark, Souls feel like we don't need Mark, Rain feel like we don't need Mark. Well, you know what Plug need to say? Hey, Rain and Souls, I need 20 grand for y'all. We need to send Junior through this course.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Those are the conversations we're not having. If you don't want Mark, if you don't want Mark, we got to go invest in Junior.
Yeah.
It's going to hold us back about 6 months now. He got to go to school. We got to make sure he's studying every night. We got to make sure he know all this stuff now. You see what I mean? Like, so we can go either route, but every time we choose ourselves first, no, it's going to be a delay. That's all. And you got to be okay with those delays. That's all. That's all. That's all it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Good conversation, man. Great conversation.
Yeah, man.
Great conversation.
I just, just with that, Mac, you know what I'm saying? I just know how to hustle. You know what I'm saying? I know how to hustle. And I make sure that the ones that are being, you know, entered into the situation, man, they for the squad. That's what that's my position. That's what I do. I make sure I vet everything that come in, make sure they for the squad.